We've not got a lot happening in this container garden, as you probably already know. But just because it's December and it's very cold doesn't mean you can't still grow a few things. But you need to be picking really cold hardy plants. Things like carrots, broccoli, kale, Swiss chard, garlic, that sort of thing. You could start off some broad beans as well if you wanted to. But ideally, to grow things over winter, you should have started them off at the end of August, which is something that I was going to do. Unfortunately, we bought this van in August, so everything had to be moved over to this location. So I didn't manage to get any carrots started. You need to make sure that those carrots are very well established before planting them out. But that doesn't stop you sourcing some pre-grown plants, and then you can offer them a bit of frost protection as well, and you should be growing carrots through winter. And that's pretty much the same for most of your winter hardy plants. Just offer them a bit of bubble wrap, bit of fleece, anything to keep that frost at bay. I have got a few more plans for the new year, and I would appreciate a bit of help with that. We want to do some new things come new year and maybe set up a few different bits and bobs. So if you've got any ideas about what we could do come spring, then drop me a comment and I'll see if it's something that we can do. But for the moment, let's take a look at what's left of this container garden. Well, starting off at this side, that is part of that green stalk planter that we've been using, and we put pansies in it and they've done really well, but now they're looking a little bit worse for wear. But we have had a really nice display of colour through season. Not much or anything happening at this side. That is his apple tree, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut that completely back. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want this tree to not be so straggly, and next year we can have a smaller, bushier, stockier tree, and that will support his apples a lot better. So we'll get that done quite shortly. We've still got a few plants that are looking really healthy, but they are perennials, so there's no problems with things like that. That is what's left of the blueberry bush, and I'm going to cut that back a little as well, because as you can see, I've got some dead branches. The two big planters are now empty, and we've put them boards in there because we have got a few cats on site and we don't want them using these as a toilet because there's compost underneath those boards. And that's his other apple tree. Unfortunately, all the apples dropped that were left, but again you can see that it's got a few leaves left on it, but not much, so that is getting a good cutback as well. I cut back this pepper plant, you'll probably remember me doing that, and I've purposely left it outside to see how it gets on. And we have had some really cold temperatures, but for the moment it seems to be holding its own. But if we wanted to keep that growing through winter, that would definitely have to go indoors. And the strawberry plants haven't completely died back yet, but they're not flowered anymore. I did notice this though, in between these boards I put down, we've got onions trying to grow through, and they will have been the really small ones that weren't ready to harvest when we took the original ones. I'm just going to have a quick look under there. You can see that they were trying. They're not going to come to anything now though, and they've not had a lot of light either. So we'll pull those up and clear this bed, just leaving those strawberries there. These plants are looking really well though, quite pleased with those. And that's his lavender plant, doesn't look too bad to be fair. That T-Rex is still trying, and that's his pear tree. We've already cut that back, ready for the new season. We have got a little bit of a problem around this side though. This ground slopes off a little bit, and I have noticed since the weather's got worse, these slabs are starting to get a little slippy, and we don't want any falls, so that's another job I'm going to have to tackle through winter. Take that slant out of this and make it safer for walking on. And buried in there is that golden raspberry bush. We've cut quite a lot of stuff back on that, but it is still trying to put out fresh growth. To be honest, there's a lot of tidying up to be done around here. I might move that propagator around front as well, because if we decide to start off any seeds, we can have them protected in there while they get established. Just got to clear out all those onions first. So if we stand back and take a look at what's left of this container garden, maybe you guys can help me out. Come new season, what would you like to see outside this caravan? Something a little different. As far as I'm aware, I'm not allowed to have like a lean-to greenhouse or anything like that. And I would assume that that's due to health and safety. But we've got a lot of space. Maybe there's something that I can add to it. Just drop me a comment if you've got any ideas. Or maybe something you'd like to see me grow at the start of next season. Well, I don't know about anybody else, but it seems it's winter all of a sudden. It just seems to sneak up on you. One day you're outside in a t-shirt enjoying your garden, and then all of a sudden it's cold and dark nights. And we know that in UK it seems to go on forever. So if you don't want to finish with your gardening just yet, then maybe think about growing some overwinter vegetables. But as I said earlier on, if you try and start them off outside now from seed, there's a very good chance they won't germinate. So maybe you could get some pre-grown plugs or start them off indoors in a propagator and then transplant them at a later date. But you can't just leave them open to elements. Things like strawberries are fine. They'll stand buried in snow for months and they'll still come back in spring. But the plants that you're trying to grow, the ones that are not yet established, are more likely to just die if they get repeatedly hit by frost. And the only way to combat that is to cover them up with fleece, and hopefully you can still grow a little bit of something. And talking of propagators, I've been toying with the idea of buying one. I've seen quite a few online, and you can get heated propagators that have also got lights as well. So light levels are a massive problem through winter. If you don't get enough light, your plants are going to go leggy. They'll just start stretching and they won't look very healthy at all. Usually at the beginning of the year, I like to get an early start on peppers because they need a long growing season or you don't get much of anything. And what we did this year is we saved the seeds from the plants that we grew. And if you remember, there were some red sweet bell peppers and then some yellow ones that were called mohawk. And I did save quite a lot of seeds from each variety. So I was thinking over the winter period, maybe I'll buy one of these heater propagators and start off some peppers from seed. But I only want one about this big. I don't want a great big huge thing because obviously we're in a caravan and there's not a lot of room for things like that anyway. But it's just an idea. And if you know of any propagators that are reasonably priced, just to start off a few peppers through winter, then let me know in comments. I'd appreciate that. Because there is quite a variety of different ones out there. But that's just something I'm toying with at the moment. We don't like to be caged indoors through winter. We like to still be growing a little bit of something. And as I said earlier, there is certain things that you can grow, but you'd have been better off starting those in August. So maybe go to your local garden centre, just have a quick look round. They might have something already grown for you. So that's the plan for this coming season. Once we get into New Year and we get to spring, I'm looking to do something different. We'll still do all the things that we normally do through the season, but I want to add something to this container garden. And I'm not sure what that's going to be at the moment. I'm going to clear all that back up round there. And right at the far end, on the end of the van, I was thinking about getting some trellis and fixing that to the side of the van and having a trough below it so we can grow all this French beans up it, because that's where the sun starts at the beginning of the year on that side of the van and then works its way around. But it would also create a privacy screen as well, because I intend doing something with the back of this van. I'm not leaving it in the state that it's in. It's just that we've been really busy this year and it's just one of them jobs you never seem to get round to doing. But we'll get on top of that as soon as possible. And I'm hoping to maybe get it all gravelled, all slabbed, and then we can tidy it all up. And then if I cut the edges that you've probably seen at the back of this van, I can cut them down a little bit, maybe create gaps in between because it's not completely filled out, and we can get some sunlight filtering through onto some plants on the back, and that will offer them a lot of wind protection as well. So although We're approaching Christmas and the weather is miserable, although today is an amazing sunny day. It just keeps going up and down. We know that the darker days and the colder days are already here, and growing things at this time of year can be a little bit of a challenge, but with a few tweaks and a little bit of protection, I'm sure you could do something. But if not, I'll see you in new season. Let me know what you want to see, and we'll work on that between now and spring. Anyway, thank you so much for being part of this channel. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to see what else we do as we approach Christmas and what decisions are made between now and the new year, then please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I'll see you next time. Take care.